Trackies, I'm going to reiterate that section. The earnings is all the efforts of the track and field athletes. Hey trackies, welcome back to another video here on TXT Track Time. Please remember to like the video and also subscribe to the channel. Please also head on over to our Instagram page, that's TXT Track Time, and give us a follow there as well. Thank you. The link will be in the description. Now trackies, without further ado, the legendary Glenn Mills is calling out the JOA trackies, the Jamaica Olympic Association, as well as the J3As, the Jamaica Athletics Administrative Association trackies, and they're already in hot water with me. But anyway, Glenn Mills is calling them out and saying, y'all need to sort yourselves out. Now, with the start of the Paris 2024 Olympic Games a mere 9 months away, the legendary coach is expressing concern over the level of preparation and organization by the Jamaica Olympic Association and is calling for greater collaboration between the apex body and the Jamaica Athletics Administrative Association. Now, trackies, Glenn Mills had this to say. I have grave concerns as to Jamaica's preparation administratively and in terms of organizing for the Olympics because I don't see and I'm not aware in track and field of anything being put in place to deal with the groundswell of preparation and talent that could emerge. Now, trackies, added to that, he had this to say. I have a great concern as to what is going to happen next year in Paris because when I look at what happened or has happened at the last Olympics and subsequently the Commonwealth Games and so on, with the whole confusion and uncertainty as to who is responsible for what and the poor organization, I've seen nothing that has changed or heard of anything. So what's going to happen in Paris? Now, trackies, if you all don't know what Glenn Mills is talking about, no, leading into the Commonwealth Games, and of course, before that, there was the Olympic Games, there was a standoff between the JOA and the Jamaica Athletics Administrative Association, the J3As, over the number of athletes allowed at the games. After the J3As had named a 70-member team and the Jamaica Olympic Association reportedly requested that the J3As cut their members before a resolution was eventually secured. Now, Glenn Mills goes on to further say, trackies, as for the Jamaica Olympic experience, there's just silence. I guess next year there'll be a big rush, but if Jamaica in track and field is in the top 3 or 4 in the world, top 2 if you look at the points, this requires far more planning and stuff administratively than what is happening now. Now, trackies, he goes on to further say, I think that based on the World Championships this year, the signs are looking great. I think we have a team that has great variety in the events that we participate in, and I think that the Olympic team for Paris could be the biggest that we have ever had. I don't know if there is any discussion between the two associations to sensitize each other on what is expected. Now, trackies, Glenn Mills has clear grounds for his argument, and hear this portion out. Now, it is also true that the earnings is all the efforts of the track and field athletes, so they should benefit. Trackies, I'm going to reiterate that section. The earnings is all the efforts of the track and field athletes, so they should benefit. There are so many things that need to be dealt with for us to have a fairly smooth sailing going into Paris. Is it a silent volcano grumbling to erupt? We're at the stage where we can't allow that. We don't need that. The association needs to get going and get whatever plans and agreements in place so that we can sail into Paris, do well, and achieve what we want to achieve. Now, trackies, in closing, he has this to say. So I say this to say that there is no secret that track and field in the Olympics, with all due respect to all the sports that I love and want them to do well and eventually will get there, right now, you also have to ensure that track and field gets what it needs to continue its level of success. Nothing must be done to impede it, block it, or reduce it. That doesn't mean that you can't work and build others, but you must maintain your flagship. Trackies, I have to say that I agree with Glenn Mills wholeheartedly. The fact that there was a standoff between the J3As and the JOA over the 70-member team that was selected to head off to the Olympic Games says it all. Clearly, trackies, we love all sports, and I've told you here already that I love a lot of sports, if not all, right? But at the end of the day, as Glenn Mills says, you have to maintain your flagship, and the flagship is track and field. So track and field literally has to be given everything it needs to ensure the continued success. And of course, while that is happening, you can definitely still continue to work on other sports that will get there eventually, as he says. But trackies, I want to highlight this point because going into 2024, not only do we have this rift between the JOAs and the J3As, but we are also having internal issues with the J3As in terms of selection. And I don't want the J3As to think that I've forgotten the whole thing between Taekwondo Tracy that has shed light or opened up a can of worms as it relates to past selections of the teams heading into these championships. So whether it's the World Championships, whether it is the Olympic Games, at the end of the day, the J3As is who selects that team and of course hands that list over to the JOA. So I need the J3As to get it together as well. And as a matter of fact, I've yet to hear them come out and address this standing issue with the team selection. And it's not just this year where Taekwondo Tracy highlighted allegedly what was happening with him at the games, but it has been well documented through multiple years with multiple instances of the same thing happening. And the J3S has remained mum to this day. And I've been waiting with bated breath, patience, a lot of patience as well, because multiple times I could have addressed this, even when, the head coach further came out and demanded an apology. I held my tongue. I said, look here, I am still waiting for the J3s to address the situation. And I'll know. So heading into 2024, we have the J3As over here, having internal issues in terms of how they're doing their selections. And of course, there's also the JOA that's over there funneling some of the funds that they should be funneling to track and field to other sports. And I can't be mad at them 100% for that, because clearly they're trying to build other sports as it relates to the whole Olympic experience for Jamaica. But again, as Glenn Mills says, you have to maintain your flagship. So whatever resources is required for track and field, then track and field needs to get. Now, without further ado, trackies, y'all need to sound off in the comment section below and tell me your thoughts. The J3 is the JOA. They both need to get it together and of course come together and collaborate to ensure that our athletes head into Paris, whether it be track and field or any other sport, swimming, diving, doesn't matter, head into the Olympic Games and have a great experience. Like the video, trackies, and subscribe. I'll catch you in the next one.